Welcome back, and now to level 2 of our lower body flexibility follow along. If you haven't checked out level 1, don't forget to go check that one out. But let's get started. Here's level 2. So we're going to start this with the downward facing dog, and this is a great one because it's going to start warming up those calves. It's going to get a good hip hinge and also warm up the shoulders a bit. So coming into your down dog, for me I quite like to alternate calf stretching. So I'm going to push through each calf at a time. I'm going to go for 10 cycles of this. So that's 2 already. 3, 4, 8, 9, and 10. Next, we're going to work on the pike or the forward fold position. This is going to get that hamstring flexibility. We're going to try and be quite active in this position. So we're going to start with a bend in the knees and feet together. And then start by thinking that you're sucking your belly in towards your thighs. So try and close that gap actively, a nice tight angle at the hip. And from here, you're then going to extend into the pike, trying to keep that angle nice and tight. So this is going to be 1 repetition, and we're going to try and measure the depth of this as well, pausing at the top where we feel that stretch. So I'm going to start with fingers on floor and go to 1, just pausing here. We're going to do 10 repetitions, but try to increase that depth. 2, 3. If you can increase the depth, try and measure how deep you're going using either knuckles or palms. It's 4, 5, 6. Try and get a little bit deeper again. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So we've worked on our hamstrings. Now we want to start working on the other side. So from hip flexion to hip extension. We're going to do this with a lunging position. So take a lunge where your hip is above your knee and your heel is below your knee on the other leg. I want you to walk out that foot so that we can now move forwards and travel over that foot. But what I want you to do is think about hip extension. So this is leaving the knee behind, but keeping your body upright. So you want that leg to now deviate from the line of your body. This is getting into that hip extension. So try and keep your chest upright. This is going to help stretching those hip flexors on the back leg. And if you want, I like to place my hands on my knee to help bring my chest up, staying nice and high. If you want, you can allow your knee to drop out to the side a little bit if that helps you come a little bit deeper again. Just feeling that stretch through the front of your hip there on that back leg. We're just going to move over to the other side. So again, aim for those 90-degree angles and shift that foot out in front so you've got somewhere to travel over. Bring the knee over that front foot. Again, hip extension, so keeping your chest upright, letting that knee travel behind you here. Again, if you want, you can drop that knee out to the side, sort of open more space and get into this lunge position. It can also help to think about tensing that glute. It's going to help pull that leg backwards to hip extension. Remember, chest high, leaning into it, keeping up. We're next going to start working on the hip adductors. So we're going to do this through, similar to level 1, we're going to do a horse squat, but we're going to try and be more active in this one here. So we're going to start with a 5-step horse squat. So we're going to measure this from feet together, and we're going to step out toes for 1, heels for 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is your 5-step width. And now the aim here is to tense your glutes to draw your knees apart and get as much depth as possible. So we're gonna go 10 repetitions, pausing in the bottom. And remember, trying to get as deep as possible for that pause. So 1, back up. 2, pausing here, feeling that stretch through the hip adductors, trying to get really deep. 3, and the chest up as well. Keep your body upright, but you're letting your hips roll into this space, letting your hips come forwards, but keeping your chest up. It's 4. Remember to try and sink as deep as you can in each rep. From here, we're then going to come to seated on the floor, and we're going to start stretching the glutes. So we're going to go into a 90-90 position. So we're looking at 90 degree in the knee and within the hip here as well. So we're going to start by stretching this leg, and I want to bring my chest over this leg. So I'm leaning into it. And by doing so, you want to feel a stretch in the outside of the hip in that glute position. Bringing my chest over here. You can move around a little bit, trying to find where you get the best stretch. And we're gonna try and relax into this position for 30 seconds. Try not to think too much about getting as deep as possible. You wanna be traveling forwards and over this leg. So that's gonna increase the stretch by getting that fold at the hip. So it's not about bringing your shoulders to the floor, but bringing them up and over. We're going to, from here, switch over into the other leg. Again, trying to bring my shoulders as far forwards as possible to get that good stretch in the outside of the hip. Then coming back to seated, we're finally gonna do a little bit of stretching of the lower back and through the spine. We're gonna do this with a revolver stretch. So from here, I'm gonna place my hand underneath my calf, and this is gonna help me get that twist, so that rotation in my spine. I'm gonna bring my chest facing out away from this side of the leg. I'm gonna reach over the top, and I'm using this hand to pull me into the stretch, feeling a stretch through my lower back and through my lat as I reach across actively into this stretch. I'm gonna hold this one for 20 seconds. We're just going to swap legs, so extending that other leg now. Again, using this as your support to push your chest out, also help with that rotation and pull you deeper into the stretch. Reaching over. Okay, and that's us done for level 2. I hope you enjoyed that one. Hopefully you're feeling a bit more limber and a bit more warmed up. If you enjoyed it, watch out, level 3 is coming very soon. Remember, click that subscribe button and click that bell to make sure you get those notifications.